Okay, so we're going to continue our coverage over Destiny of X, and we actually do pick up with Deadpool this time. Now, this does make sense because when it comes to Deadpool, he does have a lot of different kinds of connections with the X-Men, but most recently, Homeboy had joined the X-Force team, so it kind of does make sense that he would have his own book that would tie into Destiny of X. As a matter of fact, it also ties into Fall of X as well. Now we're going to cover volume 1 of this latest Deadpool series, which is issues number 1 through 5. And so getting into the opening pages of today's storyline, we actually do pick up with Deadpool being bound to a table. Yes, you heard that right. He is currently being bound to a table. Now we kind of find out that Homeboy is being held hostage by a newer character in Marvel Comics, and that would be Harrower. Yes, that's her name, Harrower. I hope I pronounced her name correctly. Now, she first appeared in Avengers, really a Man-Thing storyline that took place over in separate different titles, but she first appeared in Avengers Curse of Man-Thing #1. And when it comes to Harrower, she has the ability to do biofusion, so fusing animals and plants or humans and plants together. Either way right now, she has a new kind of experiment when it comes to, well, Deadpool. And so this is where we come to find out that when it comes to Harrower, she wants to do a new kind of biofusion, where she's going to fuse Deadpool with, well, a piece of the Carnage symbiote. Now, over the years in Marvel Comics, we have seen different kinds of symbiotes be bonded to Deadpool. So technically, this is not new. But when it comes to her, what she tells us is that how she was able to get a piece of the Carnage symbiote. And it goes all the way back to Absolute Carnage, where Homeboy went crazy, but when he was defeated, pieces of him were still left behind across the world, and she was able to find a piece of him and begin to do experiments on that piece of the Carnage symbiote. Now her goal right now is to make a new kind of hybrid symbiote that she can kind of control. The problem is though, her piece of the Carnage symbiote, it needs a host. The problem is though, every single time she gives it a host to use, it kills off its host very quickly. Now, we do come to find out that she has been using different kinds of animals as a way to give it a host, but unfortunately, every single animal dies. And that is where Deadpool comes in, because Deadpool has one heck of a healing factor. And so what she wants to do is fuse the two of them together, because the piece of the Carnage symbiote has to grow, and Deadpool is the perfect host to help it grow and also give it organs to eat so it can properly grow correctly. And so it's her saying, I'm going to give you a Carnage baby to help grow inside of your body. And so we still have no idea how in the world Deadpool was captured by Harrower. And so what happens next? We jump back 48 hours ago. Now, when we do, we actually pick up with Deadpool meeting up with a brand new group of assassins, better known as the Atelier. I really hope I pronounced that name correctly, because I try my best to pronounce these names right by using the power of Google. Either way, when it comes to this brand new group of assassins, they're one of the best assassins groups in the world apparently, but also they got some good fashion sense. That's really important because Deadpool really loves them for that right there. Either way, it's Deadpool wanting to join their group. Unfortunately though, for him to join their group, he has to prove that he's a great assassin. And so his first job is to go after Doc Ock. He has just been hired to kill off Doc Ock, one of the best bad guys for Spider-Man. Either way, Deadpool is down. The only problem is though, he only has 48 hours to do this mission if he wants to join this group. Now he does say yes, but we also kind of find out Deadpool has a crush on a particular member of this brand new group. And that character would be Valentine. Now, when it comes to Valentine, she has a very unique kind of power. And what I mean by that is her hands have syringes on them. So she's able to give people different kinds of injections. And matter of fact, Throughout this entire storyline, we're going to see her do different kinds of injections on different kinds of people. Either way, when it comes to Deadpool, when he sees her, he's all like, dang, she's cute. I really like her a lot. And so he begins to do the usual boy crush thing. You meet a hot girl or a girl you like, you kind of just fumble around your words, but either way, he does accept the mission and goes on his way to try to kill off Doc Ock. And so you had Deadpool go straight home and begin the process of trying to plan out how will he kill off Doc Ock. Now, while he's in his house trying to think of a master game plan on how he's going to kill off Doc Ock, that was when he was actually attacked by Harrower. Now, when it comes to Harrower, what she did was she stabbed Deadpool. Now, usually Deadpool healing factor would protect him or give him the chance to still fight and defend himself against a bad guy like this. The problem is though, when it comes to Deadpool, when he was stabbed by vines that are being controlled by Harrower, on those vines, they had a particular kind of pollen on them where they were able to put Deadpool to sleep. And so that is how Deadpool was captured by her. And then we jump back to the present moment with him being fused with a piece of the Carnage symbiote. And so when we jump back over to the present day, it's Deadpool finding out that he has been held hostage for at least 46 hours. Homeboy only has 2 more hours left if he wants to be able to accomplish this mission, which is to kill off Doc Ock, to join a brand new group of assassins, but to also be able to be closer to his new crush, Valentine. And so it's Deadpool saying, listen, I don't even care that you just fused me with a piece of a Carnage symbiote. My goal right now is to kill off Doc Ock. And so he breaks free and begins the process of trying to escape to accomplish his mission. And it leads into a lot of pages of him just trying to fight against Harrower. Now, he was able to escape. The problem is though, he's still trying to heal, but at the same time, she also injects different kind of chemicals that kind of slow him down a tad bit. Parts of him are still kind of paralyzed in different ways. Either way though, when it comes to Deadpool, he's trying to get away to get to Doc Ock's base, which he was able to get to. The problem is though, well, he crashes through the roof of Doc Ock's supposed secret laboratory. Now, Doc Ock is very confused, and the reason why, because he cannot believe the idea that somebody would take a hit out on him, that somebody wants him to die, which honestly, I'm kind of like, dude, you're Doc Ock, you're a well-known super villain. You have done some pretty horrible things in Marvel Comics. Don't be surprised that somebody actually paid an assassin to come and get you killed. Either way, you have Deadpool say, hey, you know, the reason why I'm here right now because I'm here to kill you. But give me a second because right now inside my body, there's this baby Carnage right now just tearing through my body right now, and it's kind of slowing me down. So give me a second to fight through that pain, and then I'll be right there to kill you off. Except that is when you have two arms pop out of Deadpool's body. Except these are Carnage's arms just popping out of his body. And so that shows the piece of the Carnage symbiote is already growing inside Deadpool's body at a very fast rate, to the point where it could possibly take over his body. Now, when it comes to the second chapter of this book, we actually do pick up with Doc Ock wondering, one, what in the world is going on with Deadpool? Because, hey, you know, different pieces of the Carnage symbiote is popping out of Deadpool's body. But two, why is someone trying to kill off Doc Ock? Now, Harrower walks in, and what she sees happen in Deadpool is like beautiful work for her. She's very happy about the idea that Deadpool is changing into what could be another Carnage. And so she's all like, look, Doc Ock, I'm a great scientist. I accomplished my experiment. And Doc Ock's all like, I don't really care. Like, literally, can y'all just go ahead and leave me alone? And on top of that, try not to kill me off, because honestly, this is all ridiculous. Either way, it does lead into a battle. And what I mean by that is you have Deadpool still trying to accomplish his mission, but at the same time, is Harrower trying to still capture Deadpool. And so it's kind of like a three-way battle in kind of ways, because Doc Ock is still trying to protect himself against Deadpool. Deadpool. Now, you would think that Doc Ock and Hera work together to capture Deadpool, but right now they're currently trying to just fight Deadpool on their own, while you have Deadpool trying to kill off Doc Ock but defend himself against Hera. It's a hot mess fight right now. Either way, it does go on for a few pages, but as the fight goes on, you then have more pieces of the Carnage symbiote just popping out of Deadpool's body left and right. It's very sick looking. Now, luckily for Deadpool, he does get some help, and that help comes from Lady Deathstrike, except when she does appear, her goal is to also try to kill off Doc Ock. And the reason why? Because she was also given the same job as Deadpool was to kill off Doc Ock, to basically join that new group of assassins. Now here's the thing though, because earlier we saw a flashback, and at first it looked like it was just Deadpool meeting up with that brand new group of assassins, but in reality it was him and Lady Deathstrike. They were given the same mission because they were supposed to be partners for this mission. It's just that Deadpool kind of forgot about her, but at the same time he was being held hostage by Hera. Either way, it's her saying, we are supposed to work together to kill off Doc Ock. And now we barely have 2 hours left to accomplish this mission so that we will be able to join the brand new group of assassins. And so it does lead to a 2-on-2 fight here, where you have Deadpool working alongside with Deathstrike, trying to fight against Doc Ock and Hera. Now, as the fight goes on, it's Deadpool realizing that it's probably better for him to go ahead and leave and try to figure out what to do with this Carnage symbiote that's growing inside his body. And so you actually have Deadpool at first help Deathstrike to fight against the two bad guys, but then tells her, I gotta go. And so he dips out that quick and easily. And so we're left to wonder, where in the world did Deadpool go to? Who could possibly help Deadpool deal with this Carnage symbiote that is growing inside his body? Well, that would be Valentine. I told you guys earlier that she would be somewhat important for this storyline because Deadpool had a huge crush on her. And so he goes to her because technically she is a doctor, and he just falls right into her apartment begging for her help. Now, while you have her agreeing to help out Deadpool, you have Doc Ock and Hera agree to work together, because when it comes to Hera, she wants her experiment back. She wants her Carnage symbiote. When it comes to Doc Ock, he just wants revenge against Deadpool and Lady Deathstrike. Oh, by the way, after Deadpool dipped out, she also dipped out. Either way though, when it comes to our two bad guys, they are agreeing to work together to hunt down Deadpool to bring him back in. And so that wraps up chapter number 2. And so getting into the third chapter, we kind of find out that Lady Deathstrike is meeting up with her older brother, Lord Deathstrike. Now, when it comes to Lord Deathstrike, he first appeared in Wolverine Volume 4, number 9, back in the year 2011. Either way, when it comes to Lord Deathstrike, he's part of the Atelier group. And so with him being part of that group, he was able to give Lady Deathstrike another chance to prove herself that she should be able to join that group. And so now her new task is to still kill off Doc Ock, but to now also kill off Deadpool, because again, Deadpool also failed as well. And so she is so down killing Doc Ock, but she's also so down killing off Deadpool because Deadpool basically was the reason why she failed her mission. And so jumping back over to Deadpool, we see Deadpool currently waking up in the apartment of Valentine, where we are able to find out that she was able to keep the Carnage symbiote at bay, not giving the Carnage symbiote any kind of chance to take over Deadpool's body. Now here's the thing though, because the way she actually did it was playing around with different kinds of medications. Now this does fit perfectly into her actual ability or how her body works, because remember, when it comes to her hands or her fingers, she actually has no fingers. Instead, she has syringes instead. And so technically she was just injecting Deadpool with different kinds of medications that she had made as a way to find a way to keep the symbiote at bay. Now with that being said though, we also kind of find out that Valentine does have a crush on Deadpool as well. And this is great for Deadpool. Matter of fact, as soon as she says she thinks that he is cute, this man just breaks down. He's all like, wait, you think I'm cute? Oh my gosh, this is great. This is amazing. And so for Deadpool, it's one of those crazy moments right now. Now, when it comes to Valentine, she wants to do a field test with her medication, seeing that if it's able to keep the Carnage symbiote at bay long enough for Deadpool to go out in the world and do different things, like, for example, amusement park. Because right now, she wants to go on a date with Deadpool, but at the same time do a field test on her medication to see if it will keep the Carnage symbiote at bay long enough for her and Deadpool to enjoy their date. And so then we jump over to Doc Ock and Harrower. Now when we do, we see the two characters currently eating brunch together. Yeah, you heard that right. They're eating brunch together. Matter of fact, they're trying to get some mimosas. Either way, when it comes to Doc Ock and Harrower, really Doc Ock, he's wondering how in the world are they going to be able to find the Carnage symbiote or find Deadpool. Now he thinks that what Harrower did was she put some kind of GPS inside the Carnage symbiote, and she says no. Instead, what she did was, when it came to creating this hybrid Carnage symbiote, it wants to come back to its creator, which is her. And so once it's done growing inside Deadpool's body, sooner or later, it wants to come back home to its creator. And so technically, all they have to do is just wait. But getting back over to Deadpool and Valentine, you do have the two characters go over to an amusement park. Really, it's more of a zoo, but either way, you do have the two characters go over there where they're able to kind of just walk around and try to see if their date can go well. Like, can they become an actual couple? And for Deadpool, this man is head over heels for this woman, and vice versa for her as well. But the thing is, as soon as she calls him cute again, homeboy once again just breaks down like no other. Either way, you do have the two characters being able to, spend some time together. Except while they're doing that, the Carnage symbiote is still kind of slowly growing to the point where a head does pop out, and Deadpool has to stop the head from eating a random animal at the zoo. But the thing is though, you would think that when it comes to Valentine's medicine, the Carnage symbiote will be kept at bay, but apparently it's still somewhat growing, but at the same time, Deadpool is kind of able to control it. But then we come to find out that Doc Ock and Harrower are both at the zoo as well, looking for Deadpool. Now, when it comes to Doc Ock, he's trying to just leave and just wait for Deadpool to come back to them. When it comes to Harrower, she really hates the idea of waiting. But at the same time, though, it's Doc Ock want to keep a low profile at the zoo, and she does not want to. And what I mean by that is, she began to do some more biofusion on animals with plant stuff, and begin to turn into like plant animal creatures to attack Deadpool with. You even had Lady Deathstrike appear at the zoo as well, except she's at the part of the zoo where there's all these different kind of bugs, and you have these bugs begin to break out of their cases and begin to attack her. So this zoo is about to have one heck of a crazy moment right now. But getting back over to Deadpool and Valentine, you do have the two characters trying to continue their date, and as their date continues on, you also have the Carnage symbiote still slowly growing inside the body of Deadpool, but to the point where it's kind of like being able to speak to Deadpool, but also Valentine. And matter of fact, it's Valentine saying the reason why she wants to do this field test, but to also see how Deadpool interacts with the actual Carnage symbiote, is to find a way of how to remove the symbiote out of Deadpool's body. Except the thing is though, she's now talking in a way where she's telling Deadpool, you should keep the Carnage symbiote. What if the symbiote could become very helpful for you in different missions down the road? And you have Deadpool actually thinking about keeping the symbiote. Now here's the thing though, because while you have the two characters talking about the Carnage symbiote, the actual symbiote itself is saying, hey, you should kiss her. Like, dude, she likes you and you like her, so you should most definitely kiss her. And you actually do have Deadpool go in for a kiss, except right before he is able to seal the deal, all these different kind of creatures begin to attack him. Now, these are creatures that Harrower made earlier, plants and animals being fused together to make some kind of weird creatures to only attack Deadpool. And so unfortunately for Deadpool and Valentine, they're going to have to save their first kiss later on and get to the idea of fighting against these weird kind of creatures. Now, at first, when it comes to Deadpool and also Valentine, they have no idea why these creatures are trying to attack them, except at the very end of the 3rd chapter, that is when Deadpool realized why these creatures are trying to attack him. Because they're all being controlled by one particular person, and that would be Harrower. And so that is when we jump into the 4th chapter. When we do, it's really more of Deadpool just fighting against Doc Ock, but also Harrower and all her creatures that she created earlier in the last chapter. And he's doing all of this as a way to protect Valentine. Now, while you have Deadpool trying to fight against all these different kinds of enemies, well, we also kind of find out the Carnage symbiote is able to recreate more arms to kind of help Deadpool fight against all these different kinds of enemies. Now, for Harrower, she really loves the idea of seeing the Carnage symbiote being able to recreate more arms, because to her, it does look like some progress is being made, that sooner or later the symbiote suit should be able to take over the body of Deadpool. And once it does that, that means she'll have her Carnage 2.0. But Deadpool is still trying his best to kind of keep the symbiote at bay, but at the same time hoping the medication that Valentine gave him will also help him keep the symbiote at bay as well. Either way, the fight does go on for a few pages. Now, out of nowhere, you do have Lady Deathstrike appear as well. Now, when she appears, it's really more of, hey, I'm just here to kill off Deadpool and Doc Ock to prove to my brother and his group of assassins that I deserve the right to join their group. And so her main goal is to kill off, Deadpool and Doc Ock. Now, as the fight gets crazier and crazier, out of nowhere, one of the arms of Doc Ock's breaks the arm of Valentine. Now, you would think like, oh my god, Valentine's arm is destroyed. She's going to bleed out. No, because when it came to Valentine, yes, her hands were not really human hands. They were just fingers on the hands that had syringes. Her arms were also not human arms either. They were like robotic arms. And so even though Doc Ock did break an arm, it's not like she's dying right now in front of Deadpool and everyone else. Now, when it comes to Deadpool though, he's very concerned for the girl he has a crush on. So he's all like, wait a second. You're telling me that she just got injured? That is not okay. And so Deadpool wants to get revenge and check up on Valentine. Unfortunately though, that is when you have the symbiote inside his body completely take over his body. Now, the only reason why the symbiote was able to take over the body of Deadpool, because when it came to the medication that Valentine made for Deadpool to use as a way to keep the suit at bay, was being kept in his backpack, and the backpack was just feeding the medicine just over and over again to help Deadpool control the Carnage symbiote. The backpack got destroyed, which means the medicine also got destroyed, which also means the Carnage symbiote was able to take over the body of Deadpool just like that. And once it does it, it wants to go back to its creator, which is Harrower. And again, Harrower said earlier that when she made this Carnage symbiote, she made sure it wants to come back to her. It needs her help. And so then you have the Carnage symbiote being able to just, one, take over Deadpool's body, two, actually kill off Lady Deathstrike by stabbing her multiple times at once. At the same time, takes out Valentine. Now, she doesn't die, but she is taken out. And so now Harrower, Doc Ock, and his brand new Carnage symbiote is able to leave with each other. Now, after they leave, you then have Valentine go over to Lady Deathstrike and give her some kind of medication that will give her the ability to heal up and then be able to help Valentine save Deadpool. Now, once you have Lady Deathstrike being able to heal up, she's wondering, why in the world would I help you save the guy I'm trying to kill so that I will be able to join this crazy new group of assassins? And you have Valentine say, because even though the medicine I gave you was able to heal you up, it was also a poison. Basically meaning that you have to help me. If you don't, sooner or later, you will die again. But don't worry, I did make an antidote, but you can only have it if you help me save Deadpool. And so, of course, when it comes to Lady Deathstrike, she has no choice but to say yes. Now, after that, you didn't have Valentine say, but first, we have to pay a visit to someone who has the ability to heal my arm up. And so getting back over to Harrower, Doc Ock, and also Deadpool Carnage, you have Harrower telling Doc Ock that when it comes to her Carnage symbiote, it's not done just yet. It has another form. It has to evolve one more time. You're kind of wondering what in the world does she mean by that, because technically the Carnage symbiote was able to take over the body of, well, Deadpool. But then out of nowhere, you didn't have the Carnage symbiote continue to grow to the point where something, or really someone, pops out of the body of Deadpool. And that would be Cletus Cassidy, aka the original Carnage. So it's kind of like a random rebirth of the character. Like she was able to regrow Carnage symbiote, but to also regrow Cletus Cassidy himself as well. And he was able to pop out the body of Deadpool. And so as we dive into the final chapter of today's book, we do pick up with the return of Cletus Cassidy. Now the thing is, this is not the original Cletus Cassidy. This is just a clone. When it came to Harrower, when she was playing around with the Carnage symbiote, her end goal was to make a Carnage 2.0. But to have that Carnage, you gotta have Cletus Cassidy. And so she made sure to feed her sample just different samples of Cletus Cassidy, so that she'll be able to watch her Carnage symbiote grow, but to also take on the mindset of Cletus Cassidy, so she can have her Carnage 2.0 but under her control. Now here's the thing though, because when it came to her earlier doing different kinds of experiments on Deadpool, she also gave him other samples of Carnage symbiotes, and so another sample was still growing inside the body of Deadpool as well. And so at first it does look like, okay, we now have a clone of Cletus here is going to be in the Marvel Universe wreaking havoc. He is killed off by this other symbiote that was growing inside the body of Deadpool. And so here's the thing, this other sample does not want to go over to Harrower at all. Like earlier, she said when it came to her Carnage symbiote sample, once it's fully grown, it wants to come back to its creator. Well, this other sample does not want to do that at all. Matter of fact, this sample right here wants to stay with Deadpool. And because technically Deadpool did give birth to a Carnage symbiote, that sounded so crazy to say, it looks at Deadpool as its father. It's all like, Papa, I'm here to help you out. But getting back over to Lady Deathstrike and also Valentine, we see them head back over to the brand new group of assassins better known as the Atelier. Now when it comes to the Atelier, they're being led by one particular person, and that would be the Horned Emperor. Now when it comes to the Horned Emperor, she's very upset about the idea that one, Valentine has been hanging out with Deadpool right after he had failed to do the mission they have gave him to do. But two, she's also very upset about the idea that Lady Deathstrike not only failed once, but failed twice now. And so right now, when it comes to the Horned Emperor, she wants to kill off both Deathstrike, but also kill off Valentine. Now, when it comes to Valentine, she says, no, you cannot kill me off, because remember, you gave me a task and I was able to gather information on something you want to know about. The idea of who hired us to kill off Doc Ock, to only find out that Doc Ock hired us to kill him. He hired someone to kill him, and the question is right now, why? Why would he want to kill himself for, or hire someone to kill him? And so you have Valentine say, you cannot kill me until I am able to gather enough information to figure out why he would do that. But at the same time, I want her help, Lady Deathstrike's help. But at the same time, I want you to fix my arm, which of course you do have the Horned Emperor do. Now after doing that, they do walk out. But that was her end goal, to come here to just get her arm fixed, but at the same time, buy them more time so that they're able to save Deadpool, but to also kill off Doc Ock as well. But getting back over to Deadpool, Harrower, Doc Ock, and now Deadpool's Carnage dog, you actually have Deadpool use the Carnage dog as a way to fight against Harrower and all her weird kind of creatures, but to also fight against Doc Ock. Matter of fact, when it comes to Doc Ock, he's all like, you know what? I had enough of this. It's time for me to go ahead and get the heck out of here. So you have Doc Ock trying to leave. He's all like, nope, I'm out. The problem is, every single time he tries to leave, unfortunately, something happens to him where he gets pulled right back into the actual battle. Either way, the fight does go on for a few more pages until once again, you have Doc Ock trying to leave, except this time when he does try to leave, he's confronted by Lady Deathstrike and also Valentine. Now, when it comes to our two ladies here, they're here to technically help Deadpool out, but at the same time try to figure out why in the world would Doc Ock hire an assassin group to come kill him? Like, what is the end goal there? And so with that being said, you have our ladies not tell him that they know his hidden plan. And you have Doc Ock trying to play it off by saying like, what kind of an assassin group lets one assassin try over and over again after failing over and over again? Like, what kind of group you're part of? Now, as soon as he says that, that is when you have our two ladies here say, oh, matter of fact, we know your hidden agenda. We know that you were the one that hired us to kill you. The question is right now, why? But the thing is, Doc Ock is very speechless. Now, here's the thing, because Valentine says, you know what? It kind of does make sense because that means you're possibly working with someone inside the group, a traitor inside our assassin group. But the question is now, who? Either way, you have Valentine and Lady Deathstrike help Deadpool fight against the different kinds of creatures that the Harrower had made in this laboratory. Now, when it comes to Valentine, once again, with her playing around with different kinds of chemicals, she was able to make a new kind of medicine. I say medicine with quotation marks. And the reason why, because once the medicine is fed to all the different kinds of creatures in this laboratory, well, then they're about to explode and cause a huge explosion in this building to the point where the entire building is going to blow up. And so you have Deadpool being able to get Valentine out of there, and you have the Carnage dog being able to get Lady Deathstrike out of there, while you have Doc Ock and Hera just get away on their own selves. But either way, the building does get blown up. And this leads into a very happy moment. And what I mean by that is, it's Deadpool being able to now be with Valentine, because now the symbiote is out of his body. Yes, the symbiote is right now being this big, huge red dog, technically Clifford, the big red dog. But either way, he's now able to date Valentine. And when it comes to Deathstrike, it seems like she has officially given up the idea of trying to join her big brother's group of assassins, but to also leave Deadpool alone as well. And so it does look like the book is going to end on this note, but unfortunately it does not, because there's some crazy things going to happen to build up the second volume of this series. Except that is when we jump over to Hera to only find out that she has survived the actual explosion. Now here's the thing, because she does express the idea that she's mad about losing 2 samples of the Carnage symbiote, except she's very happy to announce that she does have a 3rd sample of the Carnage symbiote. And now she knows how her experiment went. She now knows how to grow a Carnage 2.0. So sooner or later, we're going to have another Carnage out in the world to wreak havoc all over the place. But getting back over to Doc Ock, we're still left to wonder who in the world is working with Doc Ock, but at the same time, why would Doc Ock try to hire an assassin group to only kill him? Like, what is the end goal for Doc Ock? And we kind of find out that apparently, yes, he is working with a traitor, except that traitor is Valentine herself. And the question is right now, why is Doc Ock working alongside with Valentine for, and what in the world did she just shift over to his laboratory? Because on his page, to kind of wrap up the storyline, we do see him get a delivery. It's a bunch of test tubes, and we're left to wonder what is inside those actual tubes. But on top of that though, why are these two characters working together? But to make things only worse, we do jump back over to the Atelier group. And when it comes to this group right here, they're very upset about the idea to hear that Valentine is actually a traitor. But on top of that, she went out of her way to help save Deadpool. And so because of that right there, when it comes to the Horned Emperor, it's time to go ahead and kill off both Deadpool and Valentine. And so the next volume is going to be Deadpool up against all these different kinds of assassins from this group right here. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.